Welcome to the Science of Life podcast, where we dive deeper into the topics of nutritional science, Ayurveda, yoga, and personal development. Hello, Dr. Vignesh. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast again. And I'm really excited about the topic we're going to talk about today, which is allergies. And I think a lot of people can relate because it's springtime now in Europe. And that brings up a lot of allergies, but we're also going to get into the topic of food allergies today. But before we start, maybe just a short introduction for yourself, for the people who might not know you.
Thank you, Dania. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Dr. Vignesh Devraj, an Ayurvedic doctor. I run a Panchakarma and Ayurveda center in Kerala called Sitaram Beach Retreat, where people come for holistic healing, and it is all about holistic living, routine, living and connected with the nature, and also relaxing your nervous system, doing panchakarma, and also upgrading your quality of wellness.
Yeah, and I had the pleasure to do panchakarma myself at your center.
Oh, yes. It was what, 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's been a while now.
It's almost like 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah, and I can highly recommend it because you did such a good job in like creating the center, and so we will also link that in the show notes.
Thank you.
But to get to our topic now, what is the view of Ayurveda on allergies in general? Maybe we can start from there.
So there is this word in Ayurveda called Sita Pittam. Shitam means cold. Pittam means, like Pitta is like in Kerala, we call it Pittam. In North India, they call it Pitta. Or some people, they call it Pith. But Shita means cold. Pitta means something that which is warm or hot. Now, that's the word that is mostly used in Ayurvedic vocabulary for allergies or urticaria or hives, or you have rashes coming up for no reason, or just the seasonal changes and you start having issues there. Now, why is it called Sita Pittam? Because if you see a hot oven, where, in South India, we make a dish called dosa. So they put a dough in a really hot boiling oven and they make it like a pancake. In that hot oven, if you put some drops of cold water, suddenly it'll start, some gas will come. It'll start vaporizing immediately. Now this vapor, or you can also call it like boils with gas coming out. Because on one hand, it is cold. One hand, it is super hot, and suddenly this cold water is coming and landing there. It is not able to figure out. So it is having a reaction. It doesn't have the time to get to that, like the frog in a slow boiling water. It doesn't have that time. It's an immediate response. So what is happening in the body? Suddenly, if there is a toxin or a memory of the past toxic abuse that is coming to the body will try to hyper react to it. Now, from Ayurvedic point of view, it is the ama that needs to be eliminated, but the body finds it very difficult. I don't know how to eliminate it. So the issue with allergy is we can't connect the dots with our immediate logic. We need to go a lot of background research. And for me, being an Ayurvedic doctor, I get plenty of allergy patients because they are just upset with the suppressed symptom therapy. Sometimes suppressing the symptoms is very important. Sometimes it could be life changing for them. If they have any peanut allergies or kids with these allergies, what can be done? So if that is continued for a very long period, it can create a lot of problems. But our body needs to have a proper way of eliminating what it does not want. When it is not able to do that, that creates these allergic response. Allergy is we can call it an inefficient hyper reaction of the body to eliminate something it doesn't like in the system.
Yeah, it's super interesting. You touched on many things, that we also find in the medical science. You were talking about like a memory. We have this IgE reaction, which is like an autoimmune reaction to something. And this shows usually like up in a test, so you can see, my immune system is reacting to something, where on the other hand, we have also allergies that are not mediated through the immune system, but they still show symptoms to like something we ingest, or can be pollen, we breathe it in. So how would you say, you talked a little bit about ama, the toxins that can accumulate in the body. How would you differentiate between this like allergens that are mediated or like cause an immune response, and like something we react to, like a food intolerance that doesn't show like an immune reaction, but you can still see that the body is reacting to it? And I think also we all react differently, right? According to the dosha involved and everything. So maybe we can get into that, because it's so interesting what you say. A lot of people think they have to live with the allergy for their whole life, and actually, as you just said, in what you see with your patients, it doesn't need to be that way.
I mean, one of my first challenges when I see a patient with allergies, their question is, doctor, do you think this can be really cured? See, it's quite interesting. The word cure comes from curiosity. Because we are trying to figure out what is happening there. We are just seeing what went wrong in the body and trying to fix that. Now, if the body can create an allergy, we can also undo it. It's just a matter of time and the right approach, the right protocol. Just because what they tried in the past did not work doesn't mean it need not work in the future. We just need a different approach. So first of all, coming to that pollen allergy and the seasonal allergies, why is that happening? So in Ayurveda, we have this concept called as ʟᴏᴏᴏᴏ. Ritu means season, and charya means what are the rituals that you need to do in every season. Usually it recommends before a change of season, that is one of the best time to do some cleansing process or panchakarma or shodhana therapy. Now, for example, seasonal allergies, it is mostly shown if you look at Europe. I assume most of the listeners are from Europe, German-speaking region. So if you look at there, you will see that it's mid-March till end of May is when the seasonal allergies are at its peak. And also, you will see allergic response coming a bit in the month of October, November. Also, you will see that. When we look at pollen or pollen allergies or seasonal allergies, in Ayurveda, we have this concept of ritucharya. The word ritu means season, and charya means the rituals that you need to do to prepare for a season. Usually there is a period called as ritu sandhi. The word sandhi means transit. Transit means what? You land at one airport and you have to catch another flight to go to another airport. So there is a transit that is happening. At that transit period is quite exhausting. You have to get down, you have to go. Sometimes you might have to collect a bag, or sometimes you have to pass through the security and you have to wait there. Sometimes the time period in the transit can be too less. What if the other flight leaves? So transit periods are always a tricky period for ourselves. Same thing with our body. If we are living in an extremely cold weather for few months and we got used to it, and suddenly the sun starts shining, things start opening up, you are able to go out without so much of layers of clothes on your outer body. So even though it is comfortable, but the body finds that something new is happening. It was used to some kind of a climate, and now it's a different climate. And then outside, when it was super cold, not so much of things can, everything gets condensed or frozen. So when the sun comes, it doesn't, the opposite of freeze is what? Unfrozen. So things start, the dust starts coming, and the blooming of the flowers start happening. So when this happens, on the other hand, things are opening up in the world, and you start to, you can smell that, and the body is coming out of extreme, fighting with the extreme cold. So this transit period, for some people, it can be quite tricky. So what I tell them, if you have seasonal allergies, do a panchakarma in the month of January or February. If you are living in Europe, January, February is the best time, so that your months in April, May will be a smooth transition. People say that, oh, now when I walk in the garden or in the places where I used to get a lot of allergies, I don't have any issues right now. So when the body is clean, it is able to do that. Now, when our body, see, if you look at the word sharira in Sanskrit, in Ayurveda, it means shiryade anena iti shariram, which means that which keeps dying every moment. It also means that which keeps eliminating waste every moment. So allergy is when our body has some kind of a toxins, and when our stress levels are high, then our body's ability to eliminate is compromised. So when our body's ability to eliminate is compromised, then any kind of potential toxin, it need not be a toxin. See, ama is not toxin, it's a potential toxin. It could be anything that could mimic the reality of a toxin. So, but the response of the body is going to be the same. See, if you go to places where they milk the cow, they don't keep the real kid of the calf. They keep a dummy nearby so that the cow thinks it's a real calf, and then we milk the cow. Same way, this toxin is not, it need not be the real toxin. See, gluten need not be a real toxin, lactose need not be a real toxin, hazelnut need not be a real toxin, peanut need not be a real toxin. But for some people, it mimics a kind of toxicity in the body. So this mimicking of these toxins, the body responds in the same hyper-reactive way. So it's trying to keep the body safe. The allergy is like an inefficient way of the body to keep ourselves safe. So what the traditional medicine does, or what we call it as not traditional, the Western medicine does, it immediately suppresses the hyperreactivity, which is good if it's a life-saving problem, if it's a life-threatening problem. But if we do not address the root cause, then it can create a lot of problems. So when you come to this IgE, usually when people come with skin allergies, I always do an IgE test. We also check eosinophilia. This is one thing we can test. We can check the ESR results. Of course, if the patient is real in Sitaram, then we check the pulse, we check the tongue, we check the eyes. We also ask them about their stool, their bowel habits, and we ask them, how are your sleep? All of that comes into the pattern. And the protocol is identify what is the root cause, then eliminate that triggering factor for some time. While that triggering factor is eliminated, we have to do Shodhana therapy. That is to cleanse what could be the potential toxin. Now, there could be many toxins in the body. So there was one patient with eczema, and when we did the blood test, her lead levels were very high in the body. That's because the water that she was drinking, it had this issue. And some patients, when I see with allergies, I ask them, do you eat a lot of fish? And they said, yes, I live in Singapore, I eat a lot of fish. And when we did that blood test, the mercury levels were very high. So when these toxicity issue comes in the body, then the body is like, on one hand, it is tired of fighting these toxins. On the other hand, even anything that is similar to a toxin comes, the body will hyperreact. So we have to go through a detox for sure, but at the same time, usually allergy patients are quite tired and could be weak. So it has to be done in a very careful manner. And then we have to also give the body the right rasayana therapy. We have to enforce the bala, rogi bala we call it, or pratirodha shakti, we call it. The immune system has to be enhanced. So this is the three stages that we do. And coming to that memory of that what you're talking about, that memory is actually the issue. So I give an example. If you go to some cities where civil unrest is very high, the police will be hyper reactive. Everybody will be afraid of the police because they want to go and simply hit anyone who is coming out. If they don't like, they will go and simply hit. But if a town has a very calm environment, people are quite nice, friendly, rarely you will see a police. And even if you see a police, you can go up to him and talk to him and maybe take photos with him. He'll be super friendly. So the same police that is supposed to protect can be hyper reactive in some places. Same police who is supposed to protect can be super friendly and be one with all. The difference is the calmness and the harmony in that environment. So in Ayurveda, we say, we have to balance and bring that harmony in the body. So when that harmony comes, then these allergic tendency of this allergic response will go away. So panchakarma is just one of the parts of this therapy. One is to identify, second is to bring a healthy lifestyle, make sure we integrate healthy lifestyle, and then bringing in good eating habits. Maybe we have to eliminate certain things or minimize certain food, and then on top of that we try to enhance the body's immune system. So this way, this is a protocol that I follow, which has shown very good results. And after the treatment also, some people could get the allergy back, but that will be much minimal. And then we go through that again. And then at one point of time, the body makes peace with that. Okay, I don't have to hyper react to the same situation. Okay.
Yeah, that's such a good example, with the police and like being alert, and there's just so much more confusion, if the system is confused or violence, whatever. And especially coming back to that point that it's not the substance itself often. It's not, gluten. It's not like histamine, it's basically it comes down to an imbalance in the body. And I think also it really depends like on the maybe we can go a little bit about like different symptoms for different doshas, and maybe we can also get like a little bit into what can we do if we cannot do panchakarma at this moment, how to get in balance, and maybe have like some little remedies. I mean, it's always better to do panchakarma, especially if the allergy is like intense and involves the immune system. But maybe there are also like little steps that you can advise to go in the right direction.
So when there is excess mucus, like allergic asthma or runny nose, congested nose, migraine, sinusitis, all this can fall under the kapha issues. And if you see too much of skin rashes, skin itchiness, reddishness, hives, this falls under pitta. And if you see excess dryness, this falls under vata condition. This is how you look at all three of them. When it comes to skin and when it comes to mucus, we need to do two different approach. So for excess mucus, we have to put them in a kapha pacifying diet, or how they call it in English, kapha pacifying diet. In Ayurveda, we say the ama has to be reduced to excess sugar, or anything that increases excess mucus has to really be minimized in their diet. That is the first step. It is not the solution. It's only a step to understand. See, if the body has too much to work, if you have too many things to do at a time, and if you're stressed little bit, when you go and ask for a new work, you will get up when somebody comes and asks you, can you do this also, and you get really upset. And that terrible reaction is what we call it as allergies. So at that time we minimize the workload of that person, so that that person, okay, it's fine, and when you go to a ticket station here in Europe, people all are smiling because they don't have so many people coming to them. When you do this in India, because at one point of time they'll have a huge queue, you don't have time to chit chat and ask them what it is, say hi. They just do the work and just get lost, because so many people are waiting behind. They don't have the luxury of time. So we need to give that body that luxury of less work when it comes to the toxins. So at that time, we are minimizing all mucus producing food. That is the way we can enhance the agni of the body and also bring down the excess kapha in the system. And then parallelly, medications like Haritra Kandam, or in Sitaram, we make a product called allerkand. It has kurkuma, it has iron in it, it has trivrit. Trivrit is a very powerful drug in Ayurveda. Operculina turpitum is the botanical name. It's a fantastic deworming herb that is given. So that is given every morning to take, and all kapha pacifying herbs, like for example, turmeric is kapha reducing, pepper is kapha reducing, tulsi to some extent it reduces kapha, ginger also it reduces kapha. Now trikatu, all of this reduces, even though pipali comes under that, it reduces kapha. So utility of all the Ayurvedic medications that bring down the excess kapha has to be followed. Then nasyam has to be done. Steam inhalation needs to be done. And if they can do a vamana, fantastic, nothing like it. That also has to be done for kapha related allergies. So when it comes to skin issues with hives, urticaria, allergic dermatitis, the most powerful therapy that we do is Virechanam. Virechanam, when we do Virechanam, it helps to clean the gut. And whatever happens in the gut happens to the blood, and whatever happens to the blood happens to the skin also. So this three...
I just like say for those people who might not know what Virechana is, it's like when
by the
you
way,
have the purgation.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
yeah.
Virechanam is the it is the Ayurvedic therapy where we give a medication that goes and irritates the intestinal walls, and that leads to a therapeutic, an artificial diarrhea. So what happens is we clean the toxic load in the gut, and at the same time we are also eliminating some of the past memories of the gut. So depending on your gut, your blood is, if you look at the dhatus, rasa, rakta, mamsa. So from the food, we have the blood is coming, and rasa is coming. From there, the blood is coming. And from the blood, your skin is also, if something is wrong with your skin, we need to look at the blood. And something is wrong with the blood, we need to look at your gut. So first is to go to the root cause, we correct the gut. And then there we have to be very careful with the diet that they are taking. What are the dietary changes? Are they taking any incompatible food combinations? Sometimes they could mix fish with milk, or
okay, it's still like unstable. Can you start from, and we have to look at the gut, and then from there?
So we have to look at the gut, and we have to see the diet that they are having. I asked them to go at least 6 months before in taking the history of the patient. What are your food habits? And depending on the food habits, we try to alter things and see what needs to be done. And we have to tell them, sometimes they might be taking cheese with meat. This need not go together. Sometimes they might be, eating a lot of food with preservatives that has to be eliminated. And even for the skin, if they have issues like, formaldehyde, if they live in a wooden house, and if they use formaldehyde to glue the wood, that can also lead to exposure. And molds can lead to this. And the clothes that they wear and the skin creams that they wear, all of this, when the toxins enter the system, the body has to fight to eliminate it out. So we have to minimize these things.
Yeah, I think it's so important to mention that, like, it's not only the food we ingest or the pollen, but it can be so many more factors that leads to our body being overwhelmed. Yes. And like we often don't think about environmental contamination, and
exactly.
So we only try to boil it down to, like, I don't know, histamine or whatever, and the root cause might be somewhere else. And I think that's also something very special about Ayurveda. Also, when we were talking about Virechana, it's not only purgation or like causing diarrhea. It's like so much more involved, like preparing the body for it, preparing the doshas to come to the surface, or in this case, the gut, and then eliminating it. So maybe we can just like shortly go in groups of symptom when it comes to vata.
When it comes to allergies, the concept of vata has more to do with the stress levels and if they have extreme dryness. So vata has the ruksha quality, which is the dryness quality is exclusive to vata. It is not present in pitta or kapha, but the cold quality is present in both pitta and kapha.
You mean like the cold is in vata and kapha, right? You said pitta.
Yeah, cold is in vata and kapha. So this dryness, where can it solve? The worst place that we don't like to be dry is our skin. Every time our skin gets dried, we get so irritated. And the slight oiliness is present in pitta, and oiliness is present in kapha also. So when we look at that dryness, is an exclusivity of vata. Nobody likes dry skin. Nobody likes anything dry. I mean, we want our floor to be dry, but at the same time, when our skin is dry, it makes us feel insecure. We feel something is not clear. So when it comes to dryness, we have to bring in good Sneha therapy. Sneha means oleation. It also means love. It also means love because a person who has love, he keeps things together. So the oleation means applying the right oil for the body. And also there could be dryness in the gut, especially in the anorectal region. So there we do like a therapy called as matra vasti or anuvasana vasti, which actually means we are using oil for an enema. This is also another therapy that is done when our skin is well lubricated or moist, and our gut is also having the right approach of the moistness. Our body feels safe. So this helps the body to recover quickly. And on the other hand, stress level also plays an important role. When you ask people with eczema, when does it flare up? They will say, whenever I get stressed, my eczema flares up. You ask patients with psoriasis, when does it flare up? When I get stressed, it flares up. All kinds of allergies, when you ask the patient, when do you get the flare up? When the stress level goes up, it flares up very highly. So on the other hand, stress management plays a very important role in calming the body's hyperreactivity. So on one hand, we need to clean. On one hand, we need to calm down the nervous system, which is to calm down the vata. On one hand, we need to upgrade the agni of the body, that is to enhance the pitta. So this is the protocol that we approach. And today we see more allergies coming because of the industrial pollution, the exposure to toxins, and there are studies. We see more allergies than 5 decades before than ever because of the kind of toxins that our body is being exposed to, and the lifestyle that we are exposed to. We don't sleep enough like before. Our sleep factors are reduced. So all of this put together, and our ability to recover is also reduced. So all of this put together, Ayurveda is becoming more relevant to humanity than any other time. So being conscious, go for organic food as much as possible. Avoid processed food, avoid junk food. There is a huge correlation between kids who have asthma and them eating junk food. But usually I see that mostly in American kids and also in some big cities of India. In Europe, I don't see so much, but I still do see that. So this choice of food, be very conscious. The more it is coming from nature, the more it doesn't have a shelf life, it is good for you. The more shelf life the food has, it means it could have toxic elements in it. So that has to be factored in it.
Yeah, I think it's so important what you said, like that it can be from different sources. It can be food, but also in clients who I see that eat very healthy, just to keep in mind, it can be from environmental toxins. And then also to think about the body as a whole, where we just like also have to digest emotions, and it's an invitation also to declutter your life, to declutter like anything, that the body is still processing. And as you said, like it's so important to give yourself time and to allow that space and that to happen. So I think it's so important to look from different angles, and then also to get the support. It's so important to start with nutrition. And as you mentioned, the food combinations, they can do such like amazing, or can give such amazing results, just leaving out like the wrong food combinations. Or also give the body time to digest, not to eat after an hour or 2 hours, but just to give it like more space to fully be digested. So yeah, I think, or I hope that many people could take something away from this. And in case someone says, I really want to do a panchakarma, or contact you for consultation, maybe online, I don't know if that's possible at the moment with you, where can they find you?
Best is find my Instagram, Vignesh Devraj, and you will see the link in bio where they can book for an online consultation, or if they want to come to Sitaram. And also they will see some of my content in my podcast where I talk about these allergies, various lifestyle disorders and all of that. And also if they want to do an online session, that link is available there.
Okay, perfect. We're going to put that in the show notes. And thank you so much for being here today and for your wisdom and sharing with us.
Thank you, Dania. Thank you.
I hope that this episode was of benefit if you're suffering from any kind of allergies. And I hope you could take a lot away from it and get inspired. And if you want to know more about Ayurveda and Ayurvedic nutrition in specific, then come and visit me at my website, ʟᴏᴏᴏᴍᴇ.com. You find more about the programs I'm offering there. They are in German, and I offer teacher training to become an Ayurvedic nutritionist. And you find more information about the program on my website. Also, I offer courses about Ayurvedic lifestyle, such as the Nourish Your Life program, which is a yearly program that starts once a year. And yeah, you can also sign up for the waiting list to have a coaching session with me. And you find me also on social media, where I share a lot of information. Also on the website, of course, you find many articles about Ayurveda, nutrition and yoga. And same on social media. On Instagram, you find me at dr.dania.schumann, and on Facebook, Dr. Dania Schumann. I'm always happy if you leave me a comment, and feel free to share this episode and also subscribe to the podcast. Also, if you are interested to learn more about intuitive eating, then my book, Intuitive Eating with Ayurveda, might be just right for you. You can find a link on my Instagram profile or also on my website, or you can buy the book in Germany in most bookstores or on Amazon or wherever you like to buy your books from. And yeah, I wish you all the best and namaste.